This is Colin Dixon with nScreen Media, and I'm speaking with Michelle Munson, who is co-founder and CEO of Illuvio. And Michelle, you have a solution that I think will ease a lot of people's minds about not getting live music. You have a solution for concerts based on the Illuvio fabric. And I'm really excited to hear about that. So why don't you tell us why did you create this specific application for Illuvio? Because there's loads of concert platforms
out there. Yes.
So
yes.
what's the difference between those and Illuvio?
Yes. So just first off, the platform's called Illuvio Live, and it really is born out of what we've always wanted to do with the content fabric, and really came into due to the changing forces of the last year. If you look at the existing technology that's out there, particularly for concerts that have a strong video emphasis, the video quality is very uneven. A lot of times it's nowhere near today's, sort of consumer grade standard. Right. And then on top of that, most of what you consider the e-commerce to actually sell tickets and merchandise and any other derivatives, now we're into NFTs, has really been a hodgepodge. Usually it's bolted on to the distribution platform. It's sometimes a separate provider. There's also subscriptions. And then finally is the monetary situation. And then the premium platforms, of course, that exist that do a better job with the video usually take the content for advertising and then keep the advertising dollars and the data. So it's really a bad trade-off using existing technology for the artists and publishers. And so we thought this is a moment to bring out the content fabric in a way that is really transformational.
So let's talk a little bit about that experience and how you can create something that's a lot more immersive, I think, than we're typically used to with this. And that's one of the things there, of course, is multi-camera angles. Tell us what you're doing there.
So one of the great features of this that's very popular is the idea and the capability to have multi-camera views, where the client, such as on Apple TV, for example, or mobile, or even just your browser, for example, can offer the user the ability to switch camera views, where those camera views are really built by an object in the fabric that is dynamically composing not only the sequence, but then also responding to the user's request for rich view without requiring the player to reload a new playlist or load a new manifest. And that just builds directly on our technology for programmatically in software, synthetically serving out that playlist and serving out the streaming segments in response to the user's request. People really desire not only to get across different platforms, but they also want to have good flexibility in what they do with the content. You have the live show itself, and then you also have what you would consider backstage or pre-release kind of material that's interesting to the audience and is going on and is an opportunity to go deeper into the artist's life and their experience. And then there's also follow-on opportunities to take what was content in a live show and build it into longer formats like films. And so far, in all the cases that we're involved in, each of these things is being really put together.
Since we are talking music, I suppose I should certainly ask you about the music quality itself, multi-channel and maybe Dolby Atmos.
Yeah, well, so in terms of the audio, the most important thing that we care about is synchronization, of course, with the video, especially as we have multi-camera views. And that's another great thing that we can do across this kind of a model. When you're switching views, for example, the same audio is part of multiple different video views, so we don't risk having going out of sync. And then also on all formats of audio, as you would think about it, from stereo to 5.1 and beyond. And the nice thing about the fabric is we can keep extending that as the audio technologies get better and better. So
one thing you do enable as well to more closely replicate the concert experience is the ability to actually buy stuff, right?
Yeah, yes. And so I also want to say a little bit about the blockchain side of this, because this is a time people have a heavy interest in what the way blockchains work. We have taken what is a typical e-commerce experience, but really backed that through the blockchain contract that is part of every object. in the fabric. And that means we can have not only what you would think of as digital tickets that are allowing purchasing and access, but we can also carry that through to other types of derivatives, like, for instance, NFTs you would create. And then finally, the digital payments that we integrate with that also work well for physical merchandise. And I think that's something where, as I'm learning the industry, the notion of what is exciting fan merchandise is really broadening right now, thanks to what's happening not only with NFTs but also just what's possible.
And it's also, as you say, low latency, so 2 to 4 seconds delays,
Right.
and also very scalable, right?
Yes, but again, not by magic, by a lot of hard work to get to this point. So one of the very nice things about the streaming approach in the fabric, it isn't just in time. It also allows for the fabric's decentralized routing and, if you will, the lightweight node scaling and, if you will, caching of what has been served before to serve all of the audience. And then this allows us to achieve a network scale that really is no longer limited by the core bandwidth, for example, between the nodes. And it also allows us to build on, if you will, even in those cases of multi-view, multiple audience members can be served with what has been served to others. So that caching is very universal, if you will, in the egress function from the fabric itself.
Very good. And I guess the only last piece that we should mention is a very attractive business model for the content providers, right?
Yes. Well, one of the intentions and upshots of this is that our platform only charges the transaction fee. We don't charge any distribution or infrastructure fees. And the idea is to benefit everybody in the transaction itself. And that's a modest fee, right? Our default is 10% of the revenue or the sales price on the ticket sales and the merchandise. And as we get deeper into other forms of derivatives, that may vary some, but our ability to be able to do that comes from the efficiencies.
Very good. And you're already on Apple TV and on Roku, right?
Yeah, well, we built both an Apple TV app and a Roku app. We haven't released those both, but we're going to in this next, actually within 3 weeks, because we have our first event coming up at the end of this month. So it's very
exciting. Well, hopefully you'll come back and tell us about how that event goes, because I'm very looking forward to seeing it myself. Michelle, thank you for telling us about the great solution. And so where do people come to find out more?
Oh, thank you so much. Our website is live.eluve.io. Thanks.
Very good. And I'll include a link to our previous interview, which will give people a lot more information about the Illuvio fabric.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for talking with us, Michelle.
You bet. Wonderful.
This has been Colin Dixon with nScreenMedia.